I caught a kitten. It's amazing what happens during meditation sometimes. I have no idea how long this will last. You going to listen to the talk today? Absolutely not, he says. I've got kitten wisdom, and I certainly don't need your absurd human wisdom. Anyway, last week we talked much about tedious, and make sure that you're unmuted or muted, sorry. There we go. We talked about discipline and how we could always use more of that precious quality in our life. And one of the ways it manifests is simply doing the things that we know that we should do that are good for us. And there's another side of discipline, and it's not doing the things we know that aren't good for us. But be that as it may, the topic last week, seemingly ad infinitum, was discipline. So there are no hard and fast rules in spirituality, it doesn't seem like, and it seems like true wisdom is the ability in any moment to select from our spiritual toolkit the optimal practice or principle that's needed in the moment, and not relying on formulas or rituals that perhaps aren't as intelligent as we need in the moment. So today we're going to look at discipline from the other side. And to do this, I must somewhat embarrassingly share an experience of mine, because I always try to use the living of my own life as the laboratory. And because I'm, level playing field, guys. I'm trying to use all these principles because I'm in the game too. And if you ever come across a teacher who seems to be above all this or has it all figured out, wow, I might run, but anyway, I'm in the game too. So last night, in my effort to apply continuous discipline to myself, I'd had the most beautiful day. And, it was maybe gotten to be like 9 o'clock, and I still had time to go to the gym and play the piano for an hour. And so, but there's this new camera that I bought for my living room, and I had to set it up. So I started to set it up. I had to do the wiring and set it up to the Wi-Fi and put a little micro SD card in it. And it began to go wrong. And so what I did is I spent about 2.5 hours trying to fix something that I could not fix. And I went down a rabbit hole that there was no, and the deeper I went in, I could feel myself going in, and I could feel discipline. I could feel discipline turning into control, overmanagement, mania, and manipulation. So discipline, like any other wonderful thing, pushed too far becomes, I guess we might say, pathological. And this morning, as I kind of woke up after that ordeal last night, it was like, wow, I sort of had a discipline management hangover from last night, so to speak. And it just made me realize the other side of the coin of discipline is the ability to let something go, to simply say, you know what, I'm going to learn to live with unresolved issues. This is something that somebody told me a long time ago, and it still resonates. It's like, Greg, sometimes you're just going to have to learn to live with something that's unresolved, to let it go, to let it be. In spiritual language, sometimes they say turn it over, and that's not usually my default. My default usually is to dig deeper into the rabbit hole and employ more, I guess you might call it discipline, but I'm going to use the word control now, because control is where discipline goes when it starts to go crazy. So there's actually a great prayer, believe it or not. There's a spectacular prayer that says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I forgot to pray it last night because I'm just kind of a boob sometimes. What are you going to do with me? You can't take me anywhere. So anyway, the topic this week is this fine line between discipline and managing things beautifully and efficiently. And when we feel like we're going into control, mania, overdoing it, and struggling, and in technical terms, losing our S, so to speak. So this week it's about surrender, letting go, learning to live with unresolved issues, putting things down when they need to be put down, moving on to something else that is relaxed, fun, distracting, more interesting, and allowing the compression and the spasm of our mind, which is contracted fiercely around a dilemma, to simply relax for a few minutes so the solution can come in rather than more of the problem. Anyway, the topic this week is the Great Serenity Prayer. I think you probably know it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the ability to let go, the courage, the discipline to change the things I can when I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Anyway, we'll talk about it all week long. I hope you have a beautiful day.